You're listening to iCannabisRadio.com.
You're listening to Rev Jeremy
and Georgia
on iCannabisRadio.com.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I can't hear shit in my headphones.
Good evening.
So.
It is the 19th of May, 2014.
All right.
It's iCannabis Radio. I'm Georgia. You?
I'm Jeremy. Some days.
What are you other days?
I have no idea. I'm just crazy.
So I had all this prep to do before the show because I had all the stuff I really needed to research, and which I had done, except for we got sidetracked by the multiple pukings of one Boone Collymore Edson.
He said that he wanted to show us what he's been eating for the last couple of days in multiple piles. And they were large piles. For a dog that big, to think that that much stuff would travel through him and come out in nice little brown Tootsie Rolls is unbelievable. Those were large piles.
Yeah, I wonder what's up.
And he seems like he's in a good mood, but that was pretty gross.
Yeah, it was a lot. Sorry to our landlord.
And we're sorry for sharing that with you, almost. But not really.
I'm not really sorry.
Yeah, not really.
Yeah.
But a little bit. I mean, a little, but not really.
No, I'm not even
really.
a little bit.
I mean, if you're eating dinner, yeah, no, sorry. You tuned in. You know that you're in for a ride with us.
Right.
So.
Some stuff we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about Friday is a really important day for all of us in the healing process of the accident that you and Jenny were in. We need
We need
to
a spray bottle in here.
So they can stop playing.
No, just so they pipe down. They can play all they want. So when they bark, it gets a little distracting.
I think
Probably
it's adorable.
Fairly irritating for a radio show.
Yeah, I bet since we do rely on sound, that's really kind of out there. He has some big testicles.
Most pit bulls usually do.
It looks like there's only one though. What happened to the other one?
They sit differently. Like guys, like humans, we hang side by side. They,
Yeah.
I think, hang one
Front
in
to
front
back?
of the other. Yeah. So it's
Why?
like wiener, ball, butthole.
Shoot. So if I were to draw a picture, I would have to learn how to redraw. I mean, not that I
The scrot. Yeah.
right. Not
Yes.
that I plan on drawing a dog penis for any reason, but
You never know.
I mean, in this lifetime, you never know.
You really don't. I mean, think of all the things in school that you thought, oh, I'll never need to know. And then 20 years later, you're like, oh, damn.
All right. The only reason why I need to know most of that stuff is because my son is now learning it in school. The other day, they're learning cursive handwriting, which some schools don't even teach. And he said, "Can you help me make an F?" Do you know how they make Fs in cursive? Like the real way that they do it? Do you know? Do you even know? Let's see. Let's see if you know. Yes. Like that.
I can't believe that I remembered that.
Like that. It looks like... Where's the camera? Can you put that in front of the camera? It looks like that. What the heck is that? Do you want to know how I make an F? Would you like to know?
Yeah, please. I'll show you how I make an F. Oh, that's the exact way that I'm making Fs these days.
That's an F. That's an F whether I'm writing quickly, slowly, cursive, print.
Cursive was great once upon a time.
What time? I mean, what time? Why did we have to learn two different ways to write? Why?
It's kind of neat, It teaches us to write and spell better. I mean, I think it kind of worked out. It's a little prettier. It's not easy to read, but it's for fancy, rich white folk. But, they just got a one-up. And maybe they thought that the uppity people of the time just couldn't read that kind of fancy stuff. But when I was growing up, it was fun to write. I remember how when I was younger, when I got all the letters down, how excited I felt because I could write in big boy writing, as opposed to regular old writing. But when was the last time you tried to write something like a whole page worth as opposed to typing a whole page worth?
Well, I mean, therein lies the point that I was going to make. It's handwriting, writing anything down in general. I mean, you have to know how to do it. You have to be able to do it. But to be able to do it in print and cursive, archaic, because the reality is there's very little that you write like this. There's very little that you do now that you wouldn't type and save or type and print out, save so you're able to change. Even kids this age, even kids in elementary school are saving their work and going back and correcting it. So this whole cursive thing, he was like frustrated with, I don't know how to do. I'm like, do your best. This is one of those things that I care about algebra. I know he'll never use it. I care about algebra. It has some real world application. Cursive, I don't know. You'd have to convince me.
I miss geometry. I wish that I would have paid more attention, or I wish that I would have retained more information as I've been building this temple and working with hexagons, the mandatory 60, 120 degrees for pretty much every single cut that we make.
Yeah.
All this kind of stuff, all these plots, laying all this stuff out, finding the radius, the circumference of variant things like the path and all these things that I've been making, or even the arch for the bridge. All these kind of things would have been, had I retained all this, if I could go back in time and say, hey, look, 20 years from now, you're going to go through a bunch of bullshit, and you're going to really wish that you had some more of this math stuff. So stop screwing around. You don't need to go outside and smoke a cigarette. Here, this is from the future. Have this e-cigarette. Stop being a pussy. Stop smoking. And pay the fuck attention. Because you really need this shit later. I mean, I've been drawing out all this geometry on the floor and playing with protractors and doing so much stuff in the past, 3 months that my younger self would be astonished.
Right.
To even know that I'm trying this craziness without retaining.
Here's the thing about that. I really believe that we need to do a lot more of explaining how people use stuff. Why is it? Why is it that we have to learn the things that we have to learn? What is it about we'll use algebra that where's that real world application? And if you help people understand the real world application like you are right now. I mean, if you want to build anything,
and you may not know.
You have, but
when you're that age, but you got to know that.
What if you just want to build a shed in your backyard?
Right. Well, as a kid, we just don't. I don't think the school system is set up for success anymore. I mean, look at Shelby. She graduated 2 years early and aced her test, the graduation test, because she already knew it all. So it's like they force kids to stay in school to learn all this monotonous shit that may or may not have any real world application, while they don't teach them things that would have real world application, and then hold us into school till we're 12th grade, and then they're like, okay, that's it for free. They need to restructure the school. There needs to be 2-year high school plans, for advanced stuff. Maybe I wouldn't have been so bored in high school and wouldn't have screwed around so much if it would have been applied a little bit more to, I don't know, real life.
Exactly.
How to do your taxes.
Right?
Right?
Buy a house.
Right?
Well,
how to rent an apartment, how to do all kinds of things. I mean, home ec, that was the joke class, but holy shit, once we turned 18, we didn't realize that we needed almost all of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean there's a dichotomy. There are things that you need to advance your intellect, and there are things that you need for your oh my god. Oh, Canoe. You were so cute.
I heard it.
I felt it because my foot was under his butt. So now I have ice cream on one foot and fart on the other.
GNU airspray on the other.
I need to go take a shower.
I'm so scared when it gets to my nose.
Oh God.
So this could be the animal hour. We should call this like something like Georgia and Jeremy's Zoo Circus. Because you just don't know what kind of weird noises you'll hear in the background, what we'll talk about that has animal to do. I mean, farts once a week, every time consistently. We don't have a specific time. No, the dogs. We talk about it every week. I think you could probably go back and listen to our shows, and at least for 30 seconds, we're, oh, God, a dog fart or something. And so, not that I want to call our show like Farts and Giggles or anything, but we could call it Shits and Giggles. I don't know.
I can't believe we don't have a name for our show.
I like the Georgia and Jeremy hour.
I do.
I mean, we could...
Or the Jeremy and Georgia hour. Could be that too.
It started out as yours. Plus G comes before J, but don't quote me on that.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Look, I totally knew that was the case.
So can I tell you what I did yesterday?
Please. Oh, yeah. I really want to hear about it.
Well, I ate fried chicken.
Which Was that, or was that? Oh, it's 7:10. Was that, or was that not a mistake, given what you did?
You know what? So after
I know that grease greases the gears.
Yeah, I did it. I did it after.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Never
didn't
mind
do it
then.
before.
That would have made for a better story.
Right? Well, Saturday, my friend Carla, who we all love and adore, gave me one of her hemp veggie burgers on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, hey, tell me really quick if this is going to make me poop because I'll eat it after my race. Because the last thing I wanted was, it's everything. Chia seeds, hemp seeds. I mean, everything that could possibly be fibrous is in this little hot yumminess. And so I decided that I would wait. So anyway, ran for the first time the Colfax half marathon, and it was one of the best races I have ever run. It was such a great course. So you start off in City Park. So for those of you outside of Denver, City Park is like the biggest park in Denver. It's where our zoo is and the Nature and Science Museum. So mile 2 to 3 through the zoo.
Nice.
Into the zoo.
So was it still open?
So it's before it opens to the public.
Oh, okay.
So it was just us.
That would have been, were the animals
fun.
out?
Saw monkeys and elephants and camels, and the big vultures were
the
out.
hornless rhino out?
He wasn't out, and I was hoping he'd be out.
They've got a rhino that's not very horny. But they've got another one in
why
there.
there's only one.
They got one other in there, at least that we saw, that's got 2 horns, so he's very horny. So it's kind of like the panda problem, but for different reasons.
Right? We got to go to the new elephant exhibit, and it was a great mile. Great mile.
Did you run the whole mile, or did you guys stop and...
You know what? I definitely slowed down. I never stopped. I definitely slowed down because I wanted to enjoy the fact that we were going through the zoo. It was wonderful, and the zoo staff was there with signs up and things like have a zootiful day, like beautiful. It was so cute, and then different facts about animals running, like elephants can run 25 miles per hour, just in very short sprints.
Now, do you think that you retained more information as you were reading it on the signs as you were running because your brain just gave it time to think? I mean, that almost sounds like a nice learning tool.
It was a great learning tool, things that you learned. Did you know that a cheetah can run 70 miles per hour?
I did not know that.
How fast can you run? Not 70.
Not even close.
Not even close. So after the zoo, which was great, and thank you so much to the Denver Zoo. Oh, first of all, another thing, did you know that the Denver Zoo is the greenest zoo in the country?
Is it because we go and smoke weed in all the little hidden areas?
No, well, which you could because it all smells like that dirty fox.
Yeah.
The stinky fox, yeah, which smells a lot like skunk, which smells a lot like marijuana.
Yeah. It's amazing how you can get away. Enjoy the zoo.
Enjoy the zoo. After the zoo, we got on Montview, which of course is parallel to Colfax, all the way down to about Yosemite. Went south on Yosemite for a few blocks, and then again went east to the Aurora Fire Station number 1, of which we ran through the fire station. All of the firefighters were out and cheering, and so cool. We did stop and take a picture with firefighters, because why wouldn't you? And I know it is the animal hour. And then came back on Colfax for a couple of miles. Really, a really good portion of Colfax to come back on because it was the heart of East Colfax. The heart of East Colfax. Lots of the old motels and old little family-owned shops and stuff. It was great. Went north a couple blocks to 17th, and then took 17th all the way back to enter into the park. But at like mile 11, half-naked firefighters, both men and women.
All right.
Uh-huh.
Right. See, now that would be something to see. I'd like to see a half-naked firefighter woman.
She was gorgeous.
I bet she could be not even gorgeous and still look hot wearing all that shit.
So they were wearing their firefighter bottoms, and the boys weren't wearing anything up top, and she was wearing a pink, I don't know if it was a bathing suit top or if it was like a athletic bra.
Oh.
but she was adorable.
Pink, so it kind of blended in with the skin a little. So
No, it was pretty. It was pretty hot.
Vibrant pink.
It was
Okay.
vibrant pink.
It's like, ooh, did she do a clever? I'm trying to look topless.
She
kind of thing?
she was so, and she didn't. The other guys were like beefy and bulky and like gym rat kind of. That she just looked so perfect. She wasn't like, she didn't have a six pack. She just looked like a person. She looked beautiful. She looked great. I was like more excited to see this firefighter girl because I was like, thank you for having both.
Right?
So yeah, then so that was like mile 11 or whatever, and they were in the middle of the road, so they were high-fiving everybody, and everyone was really excited. Guy at the very beginning, clearly there was someone having like getting tired. So he started singing the song, "If You're Happy and You Know It, Clap Your Hands." And we all sang along and clapped.
That would have been cool to have been around
It was so funny. Before we take a break, I'll tell you about the best part. I mean, aside from finishing the race, which was awesome, the best part on Colfax. Two fire trucks, the big ladder trucks, had their ladders extended all the way over Colfax, connected by a huge American flag.
Dude, that's badass. I hope somebody got a picture of that.
I took a lot of pictures, but it's so bright, and they never turn out the way that you think they're going to.
Oh, yeah.
But it was, to me, that was better than finishing.
I bet.
Just going under that flag, it was freaking cool. And I'm not even, like, I guess I'm patriotic because I'm happy with what we have here, but I'm not like, well,
what?
I don't sing Dixie and all that.
Okay, so let's try this game real quick. Define what patriotic means to you.
Well, I don't think we're better than other countries. I guess that's when I think of someone who's like
that whole redneck, USA is number one.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think we're number one. No. But I certainly am very appreciative of our ability to say all the things that we say on this show, our ability to disagree with our government, our ability to make a lot of choices, and legalization in Colorado shows that we have an ability to change the rules, change the laws, change the way things have always been done.
And ideally, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say that we're the first place in the world, but we're I don't even know if we're right up there. I don't know what other countries' laws are. I know that some of them, Uruguay, whatever, legalized, but there's all this Monsanto. I don't know if that's the problem with all that. Is that a conspiracy theory? Is that real? Is Monsanto really patenting out weed in Uruguay? But with my limited view, it seems that Colorado is one of the first in the world to openly say that, like, come here, buy weed legally. I mean,
right,
as legal as it is to buy beer. I mean, of course, it's twice the price as as medical, but whatever. It's $15, $20 more in street value. Usually $65, $70 an eighth, but still, it's legal. Has nothing to do with the marathon.
No, and we'll talk about it when we come back. We're going to take a quick break, huh?
Yeah, now that Chris is back.
All right, we'll be back in a minute.
Yep.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it. On grass. Runongrass.com.
Green Faith Ministry is for spiritual guidance, MMJ information, and networking combined with compassionate care on the way to enlightenment with all Green Faith sacraments. Green Faith provides charity assistance, including medical and food throughout the year. Contact them at greenfaithministry.com.
Firefighter. I was in that picture too, but we were taking it like this, and so I cut myself off, but yeah.
That's why selfies are out. The new thing is we encourage people to engage with others by saying, "Hi, excuse me, my name's Jeremy. This is my friend Georgia. Would you do me a favor really quick and take a picture and please not steal my phone?" That would be great. Thank you.
So I have always, because we've traveled a lot, I've always been thoughtful of taking pictures for other people because I would love to have people offer to take pictures of us. And I was mad at myself when we were running through the zoo yesterday and 2 girls stopped to take a picture of themselves in front of, I don't even remember what animal it was, the elephant, I think. And I was like, oh, that's so cute. That picture's going to be adorable. And then the person behind me was like, hey, do you want me to take that picture for you? And I'm like, why didn't I offer? Like, why didn't I think that?
Motherfucker! Damn it, get the fuck out of here. Go.
They just want more and more attention. More and more attention. More and more attention. Are you okay?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. They're so careful, those dogs.
They're fucking dumb.
They're so careful. They're brilliant. They got exactly what they wanted, you to touch them.
Yeah. See?
So the race was great. They had 7,000 entrants into that, just the half marathon.
Holy shit. So how much of Denver was closed off for this?
A big chunk of that, just that portion. So Colfax from, a portion of Colfax.
Right around Colorado?
That to the, because the full marathon wasn't on Colfax that much either. I mean, they call it the Colfax Marathon because it used to be on Colfax, and it's really not anymore. But a lot of those downtown streets, 17th was closed. You couldn't get anywhere near City Park, really.
So where did everybody park? Because parking in Denver's miserable. And then parking for that, I mean, were there spectators?
Oh, yeah, tons of people go to see, because if there's 7,000 participants,
At least one person's there to watch that person.
Well,
one of those people.
Except for me.
You didn't have anybody watching you? Oh,
No, but my friend Jen had 6 people.
well, that counts. So
Yeah.
You just borrowed one of hers.
Yeah,
Did they know you?
yeah.
Then they were watching you.
Well, they
You
were there.
had 6 people.
No, Jen had 6 people, because 4 of them were her children.
Well, we got to bring our own cheerleaders.
And I'm fine. But it was really fun. It was a great experience. Like I said, it was one of the best races I've done in a long time. And the thing about, I really, really want to critique races. I mean, I would love to, so William Breeze critiques dispensaries. I want to critique races because there are good races and there are awful races. I mean, Gavin and I did a half marathon in September. That was the worst course you could ever design. It was, we almost quit. If he would have said he wanted to quit, we would have quit.
Is it a reoccurring race?
It is. This was the first year that they did it here. It's called the Alien 13.1 down in the Douglas County Fairgrounds. So you go, it's an out and back and out and back. So you go out about 5.5 miles, come back past, so you go out 5.5 miles, come back 5 miles. So you're at 10. You're at 10. You hit the finish line. You have to double around the finish line and go back out for another 1.5 miles and come back. So you pass.
So they bring you to where you are going to stop, but they tell you
go
no.
Go 3.1 more miles.
What dicks?
Right. And so you're already at 10. You're already at 10. And then you have to pass the people. Yeah, it was awful. It was awful. And we were both tired, and it was when the floods were happening, and the course had been flooded that morning, and so we had headlamps on, and our feet were already we had run through water, and I was like, we can just quit. And luckily, my son was like, we don't quit. That's not what we do.
Nice.
We don't quit. We can do 3 more miles. And when you run in the dark, it's kind of like doing anything in the dark. Your perspective is way off. So our distance, we couldn't tell our pace very well. We couldn't tell how far we had to go. It sucked. And then there are races like the Colfax that was just, you have to be entertained along the way. When you're running that long of a distance, it gets boring. Even if you're running with your best friend, it gets boring. They made sure that we were entertained the entire way. People got married at mile 4. They had met volunteering for the race several years ago, so decided to get married at the place where they met. And then they volunteered. They gave out water and stuff. So that was cool. One of the victims of the Aurora shooting, her boyfriend died in the shooting for the second year in a row, ran the first mile for the first responders, and then each mile after that for one of the people that died. And they tied ribbons on their shoes, one at each mile, one for each victim. And then so at every mile there were people in Aurora 12 T-shirts waiting for her. It was pretty intense.
Wow.
Freaking awesome.
See, and I totally get that stuff now. You know, you got to go through some shit before you really get why people do what they do. Because when you've never been through it, you just don't care. I mean, it's sad to say, but it's just the case, you know? I mean, until it just is. So now that I know.
You feel it. It's like having, I was sympathetic when things happen to kids or when, but now as a parent, when I see injustice happen to children or harm or those kinds of things, I feel it to my core because it's personal, which is why I wanted to talk about this crazy thing that was posted on Facebook today. So Jennifer Murray, who hosted In the Lab for quite a while, posted, who's also the owner of Canton Labs, posted on her Facebook page the following status. It said, "Hello, everyone. Something has come to my attention, and I feel I need to share it. The RSHO Real Scientific Hemp Oil was taken to the CSU lab so they could do extensive tests on it. The preliminary results. The lab I sent RSHO to called me this morning to warn me about consuming it. They're not finished, but already found heavy metals, fluorides, chlorides, and bromine. They say it's dangerous to consume and warned me not to let anyone take it. They said it's not even hemp oil. Please do not consume this product until we have more information." And so, of course, people posted on it, and they are CSU is contracting out for more tests through Stewart Environmental, who does testing for the government, but. She said, Jennifer Murray said the results suggest that this is bleach, that the testing chemicals are compounds of bleach. And apparently this isn't being sold in dispensaries, but it's real scientific hemp oil from a place called Hemp Meds. So if you go to hempmeds.com, they sell this product in syringes for several $100s for a half gram or 500 milligrams, and they are selling it
with free shipping on all orders over $50.
Yeah, so they're selling it all over the place, and interestingly enough, the Food and Drug Administration sent out a letter to a Fred Gardner today saying, "Your inquiry was forwarded to me in CDER Trade Press. CBD meets the definition of Schedule 1 under the Controlled Substances Act. The DEA is the regulatory agency."
What a bunch of clowns. I mean, what a bunch of clowns. I mean, where, at any point, is the cannabidiol hurting anybody? At any point.
But it's not, and that's not the point. The point is that when they've talked about cannabinoids as in Schedule 1, they mean all of the cannabinoids, just because they didn't name them all. And so this idea, I don't disagree with you at all. I think it's stupid. However, companies like this that think that somehow CBD isn't from the marijuana plant, thus isn't. I mean, that's this whole conversation we've had about CBD only legislation. CBDs
It's
are
a bad
part
idea.
of. It's part of the marijuana plant.
Yeah, it's part of the whole.
It's part of the whole. It's part of the whole. And so calling it CBD doesn't make it not marijuana.
Right. So that's where it changes. But just to hear the way that the email is worded
Yes,
is like,
agreed.
that's just silly. They should have said cannabidiol is part of the cannabis plant, which is a
Thus-
Schedule right.
thus,
Not
exactly.
saying that we find that cannabidiol is a Schedule 1. Oh,
Right.
is it now? Can you show us where on the list it actually says cannabidiol? That would
Right.
be wonderful.
Right.
So it's more of just stupidly worded.
But these companies have been selling their,
But it's doctor trusted.
and that doctor looks legit.
It totally does.
What makes me so unbelievably sad is that I have no doubt that there are parents in non-medical states who are using this product for their kid, thinking that it's safe.
And it's probably killing them faster.
Certainly, if these are kids with compromised immune systems, they have cancer, any of those kinds of things. Oh my gosh. Also, I mean, I was talking to Sean Moore, Chaz Moore's dad, on my way to the studio today to talk a little bit about this. And he said, he has been warning people of this for a long time, that when kids with seizure disorders were taking this medicine and it wasn't working, he was like, buyer beware. You don't know what this is. You don't know where it comes from. You don't know what it could possibly be. And now it's being tested. They also claim that they have all these tests, but none of them were ingredients tests. It doesn't say anything about the fact that they had ingredients tests. Certainly, they wouldn't have wanted to show the heavy metals in there. Can you imagine giving a sick kid something with heavy metals? We shouldn't have anything with heavy metals.
I could see giving a sick kid some heavy metal, but not heavy
Like
metals.
Slayer?
Yeah. Because
Did I use that right?
you did.
Thank
you
you.
did very well. It flowed so well that had you not said anything, we
You
would
would
have
have thought-
carried right on
you
through,
would
and
have
I would
thought
never
that
have once thought that, hey, you never even heard a
I
Slayer
was trying
song.
to connect with you.
You did very well.
Thank you.
Good job. So,
Did Chris just make it funny?
no, he pointed out that it's 7:32.
Oh, dude.
Time for a break. So,
Come back and let's talk about this Friday.
all right, let's do that. We'll be right back.
You gonna poop?
Nope, no time.
The Law Office of Edson Maton and Matz provides criminal defense, family law, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running a medical marijuana center, optional premises cultivation operation, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout the state of Colorado. We're focused on providing high-quality service and customer satisfaction. We will do everything we can to meet your expectations. WarrenEdson.com. Edson Maton and Matz in Denver, 303-831-8188, and in Aspen, 970-948-7183. WarrenEdson.com.
You're listening to Reverend Jeremy and Georgia on iCannabisRadio.com.
Yes, you are.
I've not seen that girl of yours in quite some time.
She will be out on June 25th and here till the end of July.
Nice.
Yeah, I get her for a month and a week. It's
What are we
gonna be
doing?
spectacular. Anything we want. Anything we want. So, I would like to try to, and it's on a try-to-do basis, I'd like to try to get her to Waterworld. She's been to the coast, the Gulf of Mexico, in Texas, several times, and the water's warm, but they never get in it. Whereas I go there and I swim out in it, which is stupid because when you stop splashing and the water calms, you see all the jellyfish and all the scary things swimming around you. But that's because the water's warm and lovely. But if you splash enough, they go away. So, but they're worried about sharks. Yeah. Don't watch Jaws, Stop watching shit that'll make you not go into the ocean.
Yeah.
I mean, the chances of you getting sucked under by a shark or a giant octopus are pretty slim. And if you're chosen, the universe picked you. I mean, that's
It's a badge of honor.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fucked up because that's just what I went through, and that's what I keep telling myself is, hey, as messed up as this event was, the universe picked us, singled us out, and said, this is happening to you right now. Totally weird. Huh?
I said I'd rather go that way than buy a drunk driver.
By an octopus? Yeah.
Not me, man. I don't want to drown. I'd rather just have it be over like that. You just don't know.
Easiest ways to die.
I'm betting that she just didn't even know. By getting sucked under by an octopus, Your brain has all sorts of time to panic before you inhale water and drown. Fuck that. I'd rather get hit by a drunk driver and die.
Can you pet an
instantaneously.
octopus?
I think so.
I wonder.
Maybe
if-
not while they're swimming, because they're in their environment. They're all weird and whatever. But
I mean, first of all, an octopus wants nothing to do with you. But second of all, I mean, I bet if you just talk sweet to it, tell it it's pretty, that you'll take it to get a manicure.
I was at my parents' house the other day, and my dad loves this Alaska show,
Oh,
all these
yeah.
Alaska shows. And so he watches those, and we're sitting there, and these two people are digging under this rock or tree or something, up in the snow everywhere, and they're digging out. I'm like, what are they doing? They're fishing for an octopus.
In Alaska?
That's what I said.
I didn't know that. Wow.
I don't. It's TV. It might have been made up, but it was so weird. They pulled it out with the stick, and it's like tentacles was moving, and it kind of grab onto the stick because it doesn't know, and it gets pulled out. And I just left. I'm like, dude, fuck this. I'm not watching this.
You were scared.
No, I don't.
A little bit.
No, I just don't like watching the people catch animals that were just trying to get by. All of a sudden, got ripped out of his home, and then they ate it. That was me in a different life, I'm sure, but this life, I'm a big sissy.
I think that's fair.
I love the animals.
I love the animals, except for when they pull off your headphones.
Exactly. Oh, speaking of, so I told you that we got a new dog, right? It was a 3-eyed dog that looks like a German Shepherd, a wiener dog, and a bulldog all got together, and the sperm got all mixed up. We don't know who the female was, and this dog came from it.
What's its name? Really?
Gumbo.
Oh, that's cute. Gumbo.
No, it's terrible.
Then rename him.
Well, my roommate's son likes that name, but he also came up with Captain Cooper. So I told Danny, I was like, dude, I'm going to call him either Captain Cooper, Captain Osimo, or Jim. Because
Jim's been used. You've had
I have
Jim's.
the fish Jim. Jim, everything gets named Jim. Since a long time ago, we were tripping. My buddy found a worm, brought him back inside. It was Earthworm Jim. From that moment on, everything's been named Jim.
Gavin and his friends name everything Steve.
I used to name everything Bob, then Steve. Now I'm on to Jim.
Yeah, see?
But it's been Jim for a long time.
Jim is cool.
So, because it's just so funny to say, it's just Jim. It's solid, it's powerful, and it's silly. Because
Wasn't the sugar... What's it called?
One of the sugar gliders? No. Oh, yeah, we had Invader Jim. And I forget what the girl's name was. Gur Earl.
I get it.
So...
I get it. Do you want to talk about Friday?
We can. So for anyone listening that doesn't know what's happening this Friday, May 23rd, is the sentencing for the lady that hit us at 1 o'clock down in Denver at the Lindsay Flanagan Courthouse.
What?
There's just more holes in the wall than I remember, but I haven't paid attention, so they may have already been there. Not in the wall, but in the soundproofing. And that's happening at 1 o'clock, and so it's really rather huge. I've been making myself sick for weeks trying to write this letter. Not even a letter, it's just write down what I want to say when I get to speak. Because going into the courtroom to say pretty much anything other than something ridiculous like, I believe this woman didn't do anything wrong and should go free. Anything that I say that's not that is going to be contributing to her losing her freedom. Now, for what she did, that doesn't entirely bother me. But on an overall scale, to have to go into a legal building and have to tell people with the legal authority to take your freedom away for decades makes me sick to my stomach. To think that I have to go in and say something, to just say anything. So all I've decided to do is, and I'm still having a hard time with it, especially because I'm taking kind of more of the easy way out. Instead of going in saying she should be condemned and blah, 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 because, whatever, I'm just going to go in and talk about how my life has been from the moment it happened up until now, and just try to sum it up in a page or two or three. I don't know. I mean, the less, the better. And just go with that, and then let the cards fall where they may, or the chips fall where they may, and to play the cards that were dealt, because that's really all that kind of worked out this way anyway. From the moment the accident happened, I mean, I literally felt the hand of the universe on my shoulder. The whole black goo, weird, all of it. It's not, there's no coincidence. It wasn't just some sporadic, oh, look, I feel all funny. Oh, look, this bad thing happened. What a weird coincidence. No coincidence. So, which kind of makes me, I mean, I still wonder, but, you can never ask the person. But I've always wondered growing up, like, do you know, like, the day that you die, do you wake up and know anything? I mean, maybe you don't wake up and you're like, fuck, I'm going to die today. This is going to be weird. Maybe not like that, but like Jenny's last Facebook post was, I have a headache. I mean, it was probably a little bit more detailed than that, but not much. It was like a one sentence. She just didn't feel good all day, and I remember it because at work we had the fire marshal coming in, and they're coming in to do their inspection, and so I got like the 9 a.m. text that says, oh, you don't have to come in till noon. We got fire people are going to be there, so don't even stress. None of us are going in till noon, till after they're gone. Well, all right, sweet. So I got to stay home, spend an extra couple hours with Jenny, and very fortunately, part of that time we went back to the bedroom, but it wasn't, but that's what makes it weird is it wasn't, I don't want to say it was entirely different, but it was different. Like the whole day was different. It wasn't like I mean, I don't want to get too graphic in case kids ever listen to this or anything, but my dad, he's heard us say much worse. Plus he had to do much worse to make you. But I often wonder, do people know, but so I got, and maybe this is how she found out too, maybe right at the same time I did. I don't know. I wish that I could go back in time and ask her before the accident in those 15 to 30 seconds from that moment until the end. Like, what did she feel? Did she feel what I felt? Was it worse? Was it better? Was it calm? Was it nerve-wracking? I mean, were we driving? Was she in fear? Did she know? I mean, like I felt weird, so I was maintaining a slow speed in the right lane, which is odd for me to stay in the right lane in the HOV. But I just felt like, if the left lane's the fast lane, if there's a DUI checkpoint or a speed trap or something, when you go past them, when they don't look at you as much, I think, in the right lane, they look at the people hauling ass in the left lane. So I stayed there and everything was weird. So I wondered, did she think the same things? Did she get that whole hand on her shoulder that said, you're coming home, prepare, or don't, because it's happening either way. So I don't know. Sucks that I never get to ask Jenny. So that's what I don't want to say gets to come to a conclusion this Friday, but at least, she had pled not guilty, which, I guess any sane person would do, when you're facing, I'd like to say murder charges, but as long as you do it in a car, it's not intentional murder. But I don't know.
You know what? I don't think that any sane person would necessarily plead guilty, because she's hoping that most people would hope that they go through the process, because what do they have to lose?
Exactly.
She, on the other hand, has decided to take some responsibility.
Which I'm grateful that she did turn around. We had a good couple of months or so where she had pled not guilty, and then she was out on bond, and it's just every day it was just miserable.
Yep.
Knowing that she gets to be out, she pled not guilty, she's probably out getting shit-faced. I mean, who cares? None of my business. But why does she get to enjoy being out and be free? Jenny didn't get to go home to melt the chocolate that was on the stove, or to put the gummies away that were on the rack, or to clean up her nail polish from painting her nails freshly the night before. You know, she wore her brand new coat that night, you know, and it was pinned in between the seat and the crushed metal of the door. So it's stuck in the car now forever until it gets smushed and whatever they do with it, you know, and that's what this lady did to me, what she left. And those are small, simple things. That's not even getting into somewhere where I'm ready to cry yet.
Can I tell you what I'm going to say?
Please.
So from the beginning, we've talked about the very, very beginning. We've talked about that I personally don't believe in an eye for an eye. I don't think that kind of punishment works. I don't think it works as a deterrence. And we sat in the DA's office at the very beginning of this, and the DA's job is to nail someone's balls to the wall. And I remember feeling like you're feeling right now, just really uncomfortable. It felt like we were on the wrong side somehow. It felt like, you know, we're so used to fighting for the people that have been wronged on that side of the law that it just felt very strange. So bringing that forward to this Friday, you know, I've thought long and hard about the transformation that we've all made, the journey that we've all made, and your dad was really profound after Rebecca pled guilty, and he talked about using that as a platform to heal. And can we all kind of agree to move from that moment forward? And I'm obviously paraphrasing. He was far more eloquent than that, but it was wonderful. And so I've thought a lot about my expectations, and I think our expectations of what would help. And in my estimation, what would help is for Rebecca to find some sort of success in her life. And in order to do that, the very first thing that she needs to do is find recovery. And so for me, I think she needs to spend enough time in prison to change person, place, and thing. So change the patterns that she's had. She has to get away from the life that she's in now. And prison might be a place that offers her the opportunity for self-reflection, to find AA or whatever form of recovery works for her. Because it's not going to happen. It hasn't happened. And I feel like we can't tolerate another failure. And if she fails, if she hurts herself, if she hurts somebody else, our hearts are already crushed. You know, you suffer every single day. I don't think we talk a lot about Jenny, and because she's gone, I don't think people realize the suffering that you experience every single day. And there's just no way that if Rebecca doesn't lead a productive life, if she doesn't take this as that absolute turning point to change her life 180 degrees, if she fails, we suffer another heartache. We suffer again. And we're relying on her to be successful so that we can say, okay, you know what? It was awful and terrible, but this was the turning point for Rebecca, and she is now president of the United States, or whatever wonderful thing she can do with her life, whether she becomes a wonderful mother, whether she becomes the best Safeway checkout person in the world who's clean and sober and, you know, saves her nickels and dimes. I think that would be a good end to the story, because anything else, and our hearts are broken more than they are now.
Yeah. That's pretty fucking good. That's pretty good. Because she pretty much owes us that. Because she took somebody from us that was more or less providing all kinds of warmth and love, and she deprived us of that, and she owes us. So she has to become that person.
And we'll watch, and we'll be monitoring, and we'll be rooting for her. But she has to take the time to find that health, and that's not going to happen if she doesn't go to jail, I don't believe.
I don't believe so either. I mean, you can't just go to treatment for this kind of thing. I mean, had you gone to treatment for your first DUI or whatever, when you realized that you could drink an entire bottle of vodka and you probably have problems, that had you gone then, this may not have happened. But because this happened, you have to pay in an entirely different way. You have to sit and suffer and think about your mistake. Because it's not like you just turned too soon at a stoplight and you accidentally ran somebody over who may have had the right of way or, may have been going when they shouldn't have. It doesn't matter. Sometimes shit happens. But this isn't one of those times. This was a huge repeat fuck up. And I can almost guarantee, no, I can't guarantee because I don't know her, didn't know her before this, but I could almost guarantee that she has driven drunk many, 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 many more times before this. I would damn near bet my left testicle. I'm that sure.
And you like that one better than your right one?
I do. My right one gets kicked much more often. At least it has in the past. I've actually gone a good year at least without getting racked. It's been lovely. Trust me, if you know my history, it's a magnet. Feet, shovels, hands, purses. Accidents happen, pool cues. I've walked back into those things. Magnet. Anyways.
So Rebecca has unwittingly found herself part of a community that she didn't ask to be a part of, but she forced herself into it by this accident.
By taking out one of ours.
And so that gives us the obligation of
helping
watching.
To see her recover. Because just going to rot, it's not going to happen. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're hoping for that, 38 years is the maximum with aggravated that she's facing. Because she turned around and pled guilty, they may not go fully after aggravated. They may say and so if she gets 20 years, she'll be out in 8. So this isn't a going away to rot. This problem is not going to go away. So if you're listening and you disagree with the things that we're saying, that's totally okay too. But you have to be able to see it. You don't have to do anything, I guess. But if you did see it from our side, you'd realize that it is a community issue and it is all of our responsibility. If we would all learn to take care of each other, not only would we not likely have to even worry about ourselves, because somebody else or multiple others would be helping us every step of the way. We wouldn't have stresses over rent or driving drunk or an untold number of thousands of other things that we just don't have time to list that would make life in entirety better for everyone. But it's just not that way. We don't live in that world.
No, and we've kind of created that world amongst ourselves. I mean, we maybe not to the great degree of literally taking care of one another, but it's a pretty close-knit community. Our friends are pretty connected to one another and feel a huge sense of responsibility to one another.
Could be better. I've definitely learned a lot over this past 8 or 9 months. That.
Yeah, I just didn't realize that your right testicle was a kick magnet. That was the first I've ever heard of that.
Well, both of them generally are. It's just that one seems to. I must turn to this way when I know it's coming or something. I don't know. But on the other hand, I seem to do much more damage to my right side as is, whether intentionally or not. This is the hand that was shattered.
Yep.
That's the finger that I cut through and Jenny came down to my work and sewed me up and made everything better. It's just, it was terrible. But again, she was a hero and saved the day pretty much every single day. She did something just super amazing or utterly heroic, and you can't replace people like that. You can't, all we can do is become people maybe like that. you know, but not for ourselves. You know, I find that the more that we do for others, I can't even stress that enough. You know, like, I love helping people. That's one of my favorite things. I haven't been able to do as much of it over the last 9 months because, well, I'm a little dark, but it's getting better. And I've been working on this project, and that's helping tremendously.
Good.
And I don't know, I've learned a lot about life, and it's not what I wanted to know. And these are the things that you can only learn by experiencing this, and that sucks. You know, it's kind of like when somebody says, oh, well, I got divorced and this is why, and blah, 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 and people are like, I don't give a shit. And then they go 2 years later, do the same thing, and then their whole life falls apart, and then they spend the next 3 years whining, and it's like, all you had to do was listen. This isn't one of those situations. You know, I could preach and preach and preach, and it in one ear and out the other until it happens, you know. And
But you know what? You know what I think that people have really heard? I think that people have, at least in my experience, I think people have been a lot better about remembering to tell people how they feel. You said that immediately. That was one of the first things that you said that day. And I feel like that has continued, that people have been a lot better about.
I've noticed, like, Facebook is different. I mean, I hate to come back to that, but, you know, like, the time for denial people is long over. Like, we're all on Facebook. Deal with it. I know, but still, it's just like high school. But
It's
I've
worse than high
noticed
school.
that a lot has changed since, you know, in the way that people talk to each other. I see messages so much different. And I don't know, maybe I just notice it more. I don't know. I don't think so, because I've noticed people that I know, I watch how they talk to each other, and stuff's gotten a lot better.
I think so too. I mean, one of the things that I always said about Jenny was that she would just text or Facebook message, or even, you know, send a public message. I love you.
Random.
Yeah,
Total random.
completely random. Just thinking about you, you know, those kinds of things, and it just feels nice. It just feels nice when someone texts you a joke out of the blue. It just feels special.
And I've been trying to act more on that, because a lot of the times I think the same things, like, oh, I'm going to, and then I just don't. But Jenny did. She acted on it. So I've been trying to do that much more as of late, you know, and it feels good.
Yeah, it feels good. It feels good on both ends. It feels good on both ends. So,
Especially because if you do it to 20 people, guess what? You're getting 20 of those back. You know, at least somebody's like, oh, thank you for thinking of me. And that's a thank you. Thank yous feel good too. Mm-hmm. So
pats on the butt feel good.
pats on the butt do feel good.
So
So everybody that's listening right now, stand up. We're not, because we're sitting down. But you stand up, pat yourself on the fanny, and tell yourself, good game, champ.
good game, champ.
I'm serious. Do it right now. You will feel so much better. Fuck it.
Everybody. Good game, champ.
Good game, champ. See? Oh, damn, that was a great game. But look at Boone coming right over to
It's
hell.
like, Mommy, what happened? What happened? You fell out of your chair. Oh, that's going to be funny to watch. Thank you.
Be. Oh, look. Look at that delay.
So if you have an opinion about the sentencing, which is again what happens on Friday, please feel free to send an email to what's Maya's email address? The victim's advocate. She will forward this information on to the judge. You need to do it by Wednesday. And really, the idea is to let the judge know what an impact this crime has had on you.
It's MAT@denverda.org.
MAT@denverda.org.
And write her by Wednesday, please. Wednesday, May 21st by 3 p.m. She said we have until Wednesday because they need to get them to the judge, obviously, before, and they need to be able to read them all. So, please, if you have any opinion at all, just write down a paragraph, a sentence, anything. If the judge sees any kind of support, please, it helps these kind of things.
That's right.
If you've ever wanted to do something to help, this is it, right here. Please.
I think that wraps us up today. Want to thank our sponsors, Edson Mate and Matt, Smile High Wellness, Noto Urban Garden Supply. It's Medical Marijuana in the Rockies, Run on Grass, and of course my dad, Cuffle Collimore and Company. Oh my gosh, with all the stuff going on with edibles, you've got to make sure that you have your liability insurance. Give them a ringy dingy or see them on the web at cufflecollimore.com. And Adam Dunn Show is on Wednesday morning at 11:30. Thursday afternoon from 4 to 5 is the Hemp Connoisseur Show. And of course, Jeremy and I will be back next week.
And that's going to be an intense one, so tune in for that one. You get all the updates, and of course, if you're our friends, you're going to know it all, but we'll have processed it, and we'll make better commentary about it.
Email address again?
It is MAT@denverda.org. That was funny.
That was really funny. Canoe is slowly taking out Boone to
That
his
was hilarious.
death. Well, I'm Georgia,
I'm Jeremy.
and we will see you next week.
All right. Have a good night.